You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Blessings, everyone. How y'all doing? Happy Memorial Day. It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Hope everybody's going to have a wonderful 3-day weekend. Hoping you getting to still relax. Maybe you're with family, friends, you're on a grill, you know, grilling up some good meals or whatever, or maybe you're just home relaxed on Wusan because some of us still have to go to work tomorrow. But nevertheless, I hope that you was able to enjoy your 3-day weekend. Of course, I wanted to lounge today too, but you know, being that I'm not doing nothing at this current point in time, I felt it was necessary to give y'all a pretty good sermon because I ran into something very interesting last night. And I feel that if I run into something that's informative for me as a woman, that I should also share that with y'all, you know, being my family, being my subscribers, because I feel like there's a message that all of us can utilize to our benefit, because if it's not us going through it, it may be someone we care about, a friend, a sister, a co-worker, you know, a woman that's dear to you, that's probably experiencing something that a lot of married women out here have encountered at one point in time. Some have been able to survive it, and others just could not, you know, and for very good reason. We've all witnessed Melody going through season after season after season on Love and Lockup in Huntsville, because that's what I might as well call it now, being that everybody keeps getting arrested. But we'll save that for another time, y'all. But we've seen her be disrespected consecutively and constantly from her friends, people who claim to be her friends, people who claim to have been her business partners, you know, everybody she tried to put on, you know, everybody, you know, she, you know, was riding for, you know, we've seen in the end how, you know, they turned on her, and now we're seeing how things are turning on them. So you have to be mindful with how you treat people, right? But let's not get it twisted. You know, I want us to kind of stay traveling the same lane. I don't want to go too many different directions and confuse y'all. But the disrespect started with Martell. If Martell was solid, Kimmy, Tisha, Maurice, Marceau, none of them would have had the opportunity to, you know, come at her or, you know, attack her from a malicious aspect the way that they've been able to. A lot of the disrespect started with Martell. What y'all have to understand is when outsiders see that your marriage is not intact, that gives the enemy room to attack full circle. I'm going to repeat that again. If your marriage is not intact, it gives the enemy the room to attack. See, Mel did not really know. She had an idea what Martell was doing, right? You know, as a woman, you have what's called the gift of intuition. Not only that, you know, all of the red flags was there with Martell being gone all the time, having a second mobile phone, you know, all of the signs were there, right? But the most importantly is that his friends knew, okay? Marceau and Maurice was right there witnessing firsthand how Martell was violating his marriage, violating his vows with Mel. But because they were the power couple, the it couple, the outsiders wanted to see them fail, okay? Because it was Mel that had Martell and Mel looking like the it couple. She was the business, she was the brain, and she was the one who made Martell look good. None of us really knew how dumb or how lack of a significance Martell had in that marriage until all the grits hit the fan. But in the initial beginning, before everything, you know, came out in the open, they were the it couple. Martell looked like the ideal father, looked like he was very active in his children's life, looked like him and Mel was on one team, and we found out in the end that it was all a facade, that Melody, like a lot of married men, a lot of married women, that is in a struggle with their marriage. You know, you try to respect the vows, you try to honor a babe for better or for worse, hoping that the worst will eventually become the better, and you basically honoring the covenant that you spoke before God. And when people find out, you know, all of the things that you have gone through and all of the things that you have allowed or tolerated, people want to bash you. People want to drag you through the mud. Why did she stay? Why was she there that long? You know, and people can be so judgmental, not understanding that marriage is very sacred. And it's a very deep covenant. It's more than just a piece of paper. It's not easy to just walk away from something you're spiritually joined to, you know. But women who have never been married, or women who have who envy married women, you know, they relish at the thought of a married woman being made a fool of. Okay, they relish at that. See, that's why I ain't married, honey, because I ain't about to have no husband of mine. I love my single life, honey, because at least I ain't got to worry about no man coming home to me, putting his thing in me after he done had it everywhere else. And, you know, I get it, you know. However, that does not mean we have to, you know, demolish another woman that's willing to weather the storms, because she understands that in a marriage, things are not always going to be perfect. That a man does make mistakes, and sometimes men learn from their mistakes, and then you have others that would never learn. And Martell is a prime example of one that would never ever learn. And because of him being stubborn, him not willing to submit to marriage, most importantly not willing to submit to God, and not abuse the leaderships that God has designed for him as a man to be able to have, then what ends up happening is your actions, your infidelity ends up ruining you. Okay, and it's not enough men out there that are going to be transparent and admit it. So I really gravitate towards any man that's willing to share his experiences and say, yes, I was a hoe. I was a homemonger. I did not respect my wife. I did not respect my marriage. I did not value being a husband. I did not value being a family man, and it has costed me. So first off, let's go into this, right? What is what's the definition of infidelity in adultery? Excuse me, y'all. I ain't had my coffee this morning. I probably should have had my coffee this morning. I may end up having to pause and make my coffee, y'all, because my words are just mumble jumble. But what is the difference between adultery and infidelity? Because we have to understand the basic concept, because believe it or not, there's a difference, you know, between the two. Infidelity or cheating is the act of being either emotionally or physically unfaithful to a spouse or partner and breaking a commitment or promise during the act. Meaning you're doing something privately that you know you would not do publicly. For anybody who's confused about, well, how I know if I'm really cheating or if he's really cheating. If he got to sneak and hide, he got to sneak and have lunches, sneak and take phone calls. He can't answer, you know, another woman's call in front of you. When he goes to have luncheons, he can't invite you along. Why does he have to hide you? Why does he have to exclude you? Because there's something inappropriate going on, or something inappropriate is about to go on. Because there's no way that a man or a woman should be around the opposite sex all the time without letting the wife or the husband know. If you're not letting your significant other know who you are around, you are playing with fire, and you will get burnt. All that lying to yourself, well, we're just having lunch, we just exchange numbers. That's how it starts off, okay? So if you got to hide it, that person texting you, you erasing the text. Well, what you erasing it for? What you hiding it for? What's going on? You know what I mean? What is it you really want to do, which is why you're not letting your spouse or your significant other. And this is not just for men, you women too. That nice looking man on the job that's been taking you to lunch, and you know he fine, and you don't let your husband know nothing about this man. He knows nothing about y'all be going to lunch. When he's calling you, your husband don't know. When he's texting you, husband don't know. Listen, you are playing with fire. That's how infidelity, that's how cheating starts. With conversation. Having secret lunches. Going to restaurants in another county so nobody will notice you there, hoping not to run into your husband friends or your wife friends. You getting ready to do something you don't need to be doing, and instead of you pumping the brakes, you are going into full acceleration. Now, what is adultery? Adultery is engaging in physical sexual activity and may be considered a criminal offense and grounds for divorce in certain places. Absolutely. That's basically what it is. You know, adultery is the sexual act within itself. Once it gets past a place of you're no longer conversating, but now you're having sexual relations. It done went from meeting at restaurants to now you're meeting at the Carl Ritzon or the Best Western or, you know, the Hampton Inn, you know. Now it has escalated to a point in which now you cannot reverse it. You done took things too far. You know, it went from bed and breakfast to now you're actually in the bed with each other. You know, and this is how it starts. You know, and usually once you have gotten yourself involved that deep, it's very hard to detach yourself. And that's what happened with Martell. Martell became so attached to Ariane that he could not pull out. And I mean that literally. In the spiritual sense, he couldn't pull out. And sexually, he couldn't pull out. Which is how he got her pregnant. Okay? So, this is what happens when we constantly when we set no barriers for ourselves, when we lack discipline and we lack respect. This is what ends up happening. The enemy ends up having his way with us, having his way with our bodies, having his way with our spirit, and ultimately in the end it ruins you individually as a man, okay, as a person. But in this aspect, we're talking about the men, okay? And I'll probably do content, too, for women who also have infidelity issues as well. If not here, I'll probably do it on my other Mocha's Cafe de Paris, my co-ed channel. If I do, I'll share it in my community tab so y'all can watch it over there, right? But this is what ends up happening. We end up way in over our heads, and then we wonder, like, I didn't think it was gonna come to this. Where did I go wrong? You mind-boggling. You mind-boggle. You don't know. You can't put the pieces together. You can't interpret. You can't figure out, how did it get this far? How did it get this far out of hand? So, you know, I do my research. You know, certain things I follow on YouTube, especially if I feel it's going to be an effective tool, the sermon, or it's going to be a valuable lesson, particularly for women, you know, because a lot of women out here are dealing with Martells. Or maybe at one point in time you dealt with a Martell. Maybe you dealt with a Martell. Or you're dealing with a Martell now. It's very embarrassing. Not too many women want to admit that they too have battled, you know, a Martell, a Marceau, a Maurice. But we're going to, you know, keep it simplified. But A lot of women are too embarrassed. A lot of women have gone through what male is going through. That's why so many people can relate. And so many people cannot stand Martell. We can't just stand Martell, not to just can't stand him. A lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of us have encountered a Martell. Or some of us are going through with the Martell. It's a reason that so many women have so much animosity towards him, and we can relate to male in so many different aspects if we haven't gone through it. It's just being a woman, understanding how you would feel if in an event it were to happen to you. And that's why, you know, we don't have no empathy for these Arians, these Portias out here. You know, we don't have no empathy for these side women, because they play a significant part in how these men allow infidelity to ruin them, and in turn it ruins them as well. Now we're dealing with Portia being embarrassed by the very man who she was very snooty and proud and honorary to be with, knowing he was married to Fallon. And you had a lot of Portia praise team supporters who was backing her up and supported her when she got with Simon. Ooh, you look good, girl. You make Simon look so good, girl. You and Simon, y'all look so happy together. Y'all stop hating on Portia. Portia is happy. May the best woman win. And look what he's doing to her. He done stopped the bag. You know what I mean? He don't want her filming in his mansion, knowing that's part of her getting her back from the show, you know. And now she's getting egg thrown all in her face, and you have a lot of her Portia praise team members. They mad and they burnt. They feeling some type of way because they embarrassed about what their girl is going through. They embarrassed about what Portia's going through, and they mad with me and other bloggers who talk about it. But this is a prime example. It is not worth being somebody's coleslaw, side dish, appetizer, whatever you choose to be, because it can very well blow up in your face. And it has. Several women who have dealt with these married men are paying the price. Nene is one of them. Greg was married when Nene got involved with them, and she turned around and got with another married man, Naomi. But yet she's talking about keep your legs close to married men. Y'all really need to stop supporting these type of women who commit this, who partake in Jezebel behavior. Because it's all fun and games until it happens to you, your daughter, or a woman that you care about. But like Leviticus chapter 20 verse 10 threatened that the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress, shall surely be put to death. Okay, and that goes both ways. It's not just committing adultery with another man's wife. It's also another woman's husband. Okay, it go both ways, and it shall surely be put to death. And even though, you know, we can't, you know, get Martell and Ariane in the gas chamber, but they're slowly dying in other ways. The death of Martell's marriage. Death is the ending of something. Okay. It does not just necessarily have to mean that you go in the grave. It can mean the death of something meaningful. The death of his marriage. That's what got put to death for Martell. And he's suffering and paying for it every day. But listen, I stumbled across this video, you know, and I'm like, I got to share this. I think this is very informative. It was very refreshing. There's this pastor. A lot of y'all are not fond of him. And I'm not going to say his name, probably till after. Some of y'all may recognize his voice. Because my thing is, sometimes, ladies, once y'all find out something about someone, y'all totally lose the message and you're focused on the messenger. And that is not what I want in today's sermon. I have the gift of being able to separate the message from the messenger. I can listen to a homeless guy that's drunk as a skunk, but if he is preaching the word and he's speaking it in a manner in which I can comprehend and understand, guess what? I'm willing to listen. You know, clean water can come out of a dirty faucet, but I understand that we are in times in which people are very judgmental, and once they know certain things about you, they don't want to learn anything from you. If y'all knew some of the things I probably went through personally, you probably wouldn't want to listen to me. Like, who is she to give out advice on something? And she went through blase, blase, blah. You have to learn how to separate the message from the messenger. And that is what I want y'all to do in this instance. I want you to have an open mind. This individual is still a pastor. He may slip and say his name. If he does, then, you know, you can choose to still listen and you can choose not to. But I'm going to be interjecting and reiterating a lot and adding my own intake on exactly what he's saying, because it's a lot of men like Martell who have this issue. And like when I had to share this with y'all, because he was spot on. And I love to hear when other men share their experiences about committing adultery and infidelity, because it gives you a better insight, because who knows a man better than a man? I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I know my scriptures, I know the sermons, I can break things down to the smallest common denominator. But when a man who has fornicated, who has ruined his marriage, can break down and give you the foundation as to what caused it, you can all put it together and tie it all in, and it starts to make a lot of sense. You know, because we can learn from men who have made bad choices. I don't know about y'all, but you can't learn from a man who's always been faithful. You can't learn from a man who never failed his marriage. You can't learn from a man who never disappointed his wife. You cannot learn from men who always had it right. You could only learn from the ones who ruin themselves and not embarrass a man enough to share the experience and say, I messed up. I caused this. Nothing more refreshing than a man who could take accountability, which Martell, on the other hand, he cannot take accountability. So let's listen to the message. I'm going to be interjecting a lot, okay? Because this is for educational purposes only, so I'm not going to be able to just play it all the way on out, because that will be a copyright, and the only way I can eliminate that, I have to keep interjecting. And plus, I wanted to reiterate on a lot of things he's saying, because I believe that is what's going on with Martell, and I'm sure y'all will agree as we start to listen to the sermon. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start getting the content rolling. I got it from a content creator by the name of Hardly Initiated, which is a wonderful podcast. From my understanding, it's two guys on here that's talking to a pastor about you know, the value of marriage and why it's important for men to value marriage or to seek marriage. And he says a lot of refreshing things that I think a lot of you women can benefit from. So let's just get it started, and then we'll just pretty much go from there. And, you know, might as well hit the like button, y'all. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're 22 minutes in. If somebody could take a second and just hit that like button, I would gladly appreciate it. It helps to get my videos in the algorithm. So let's get it started, y'all.
And it's gotten so toxic.
It is a desperation because of social media expectation. So I want a black woman with a Dominican body, with Hawaiian hair, with European features, with an Imhotep mind.
A creative player.
Yeah. We want all of that. So we have curated in our heads what they're supposed to look like. So we want them in red bottoms, drum roll, but we don't want to buy them. We want them in Birkenstocks, not Birkin bags, but they better not ask us for one. We want them to have their teeth from Colombia, but don't tell us that that's where they from. So we're looking at bodies by Mattel, but not dealing with, can you hold a conversation with me?
Now I want to pop the brakes there, right? Because basically what the pastor was saying was that the social media is the reason why a lot of these men have unrealistic expectations when it comes to what they perceive or what they deem as attractive when it comes to women. Okay, it's this European Mattel plastic Barbie built persona that women have to have a certain skin tone, that they have to have a certain texture of hair, that their bodies have to be built a certain way. And a lot of this comes with the fact that social media has unfortunately you know, given a lot of these men false narratives as to what women should look like. what they should be attracted to. And I definitely think that is true. These all of these play a major part as to why, you know, a lot of these men, married men and particularly, start to overindulge in inappropriate inappropriate mindset of what they deem as attractive. And when you start getting this type of image programming to your mindset, you start finding everything wrong at home with what you got. When in actuality, there's nothing wrong with your wife. There's nothing wrong with your life. It's just that social media social media has programmed this mindset of what a woman is supposed to look like and what deems a woman to be attractive. That's basically kind of what he's saying, y'all. But we're going to go ahead and keep letting the message like it's been doing. So let me continue.
Now dealing with, can you hold a conversation with me? Can you challenge me to be great?
Oh, that's the other part. When he was talking about how you have men who want to see a woman in red bottoms but don't want to buy red bottoms. You have men who have this expectation of what he wants a woman to become so he can desire her. However, he's not willing to put in anything. He's not willing to invest in anything to assist her with becoming that. He just has all these expectations of how sexual woman should be, how sexy woman should be, but yet he does not have to invest in any of that to help her to enhance those qualities. He wants her to already come to the table with all of these things of what he deems as sexy, as what he deems as attractive, but yet he's not willing to put in any work. He's not willing to invest anything into that woman to help her to be able to enhance to that level. But that was the next part I almost forgot.
Or do you like the Instagram version of me? The Instagram version of me is when I'm flexing, when I'm flossing. I ain't never seen men showing their closet. Men showing a closet full of Air Force One.
Yeah. A whole room of shoes.
Yeah. So if you get married, where her clothes going? Ain't no space for her. She's supposed to have the closet. We supposed to have the little walk-in. And so we have to recalibrate our thinking and our mind frame. Do we really want a relationship or do we want a post? Because if the aim is just for a post, you can go get that. But the relationship is hard work. Yeah, it is. Matching pajamas, I can order that online. But wanting to stay there the next day.
Yeah, right.
Without the sound of your voice irritating me. There's a whole nother process that we got to walk through in terms of a word the Bible uses that this generation can't pronounce. It's called long suffering. How long can I stay in there when you get on my nerves? Drum roll and not cheat.
Okay, and so I'm going to put a pause on that. Basically, social media has given men, and I'll say women too, a false narrative of what a relationship is supposed to be like. So in instance with these men, these Instagram, or what I would call Insta skank models, who are constantly revealing themselves on social media, showing their TNAs, the men are drawn to that like a magnet. And this is the thing about it. All of that looks good on social media, but as the pastor was saying, however, in real life, after you've gotten past the Instagram posting of this woman, and it's time to actually, have a conversation or take things to another level, you find out outside of those sexy pictures that she's been posting herself, she may be a lot to deal with. Can you even hold a conversation with her? Is she smart? Is she intelligent? Besides her new bought booty, or her new breast that she just purchased off of her final payment, what else does she have to offer? What other things are you going to find out about her later on down the line once you get past, the Insta skank persona that she posted that made you drawn to her in the first place?
How long can I stay in there without entertaining another option? How long can I work through it? Because we have come together for goals and a common good and a finish line. And we want to not just make money together. We want to build a life together, share memories with. You can't possibly be serious about you want to spend a life with somebody who you threaten they better not post. You want to create memories if they banned from using the camera on their phone.
Right.
Yeah, how far are they going?
So do you think that personal sacrifice is necessary when it comes to long-term relationships?
I think that relationship is synonymous with sacrifice. Yeah. It's not, can I? If I love you, I have to sacrifice. So the woman you dating, hypothetically, for those who are watching, I don't know this woman. I don't know her name. The woman you dating, hypothetically, is a vegetarian. You not. So because you dating this woman, you gonna make the sacrifice and go to slutty vegan. That ain't what you want. It ain't what you like. But you're making the sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah, that's a part of it. The part of the sacrifice is understand I have no desire to go to the Beyonce tour. No desire. The woman who I date wants to go. So I am spending money for something that does nothing for me. That is a part of the sacrifice. But nobody wants to do a sacrifice. We want to take relationships as an elective. This is what I'll do if it is convenient. This is what I'll do if I got nothing else to do. This is what I'll do if I am bored. That ain't a sacrifice. The sacrifice is, what am I prepared to do for somebody else's pleasure?
Absolutely. And a lot of married men get this twisted. Marriage in general is about sacrificing, meaning that sometimes you have to be willing to put down your pleasures to accommodate somebody else's pleasures. And Martell failed at this. He made his pleasures way more important than Mel. Even if it meant sacrificing her sexual desires, because as he would state that he wasn't satisfied sexually, that Mel was not pleasing him. Mel ended up having to put him on blast and said, hey, I never even climaxed. I've never had an orgasm. So this just goes to show that some of these men could be so consumed into their own pleasures that they're not willing to understand that part of marriage means it's not just you being the one that's being pleased. You also have to please your significant other. While he's steadily sitting up here talking about he's not satisfied, he's not pleased, he was so busy trying to get himself off, he was not paying attention to Mel's body language. Any man who wants to sexually please his wife, he's going to pay attention to your body language. He's going to make sure you climaxed. He's going to make sure you had an orgasm. If not, he's going to keep perfecting those bedroom skills till it gets to that point to where you are knocked out sleep for several hours throughout the day. If he's not paying attention to your body language, he can get up and see that you're not drained, that you go take a shower and throw on your house robe like you just came from a job you really didn't want to do. That just goes to show you how much he does not realize he's not sacrificing himself as a husband. So the pastor here made a very significant point that as a man, you have to be willing, to make some adjustments, some sacrifice. And hey, if your wife don't eat red meat, hey, that's not saying you don't have to eat red meat, but don't try to force her to eat red meat because that's what you do. If your wife wants to just go to Target and go shopping and she wants you with her, there's nothing wrong with that. You may not be a Target person, but if that's something, she likes, and that's something, that would be of interest to her, why not have that moment with her, allow her to have that, and you join in on the fun. Make the best of it. That's basically what he's saying, because you have some of these married men, they're so disconnected. Martell was very disconnected. He really involved himself in the areas in which Mel needed him the most, like with her business, with the knowing she had a whole lot of business that she was doing outside the household, which he could have invested and sacrificed and did more than just be a stay-at-home dad, which gave him room to go out there and fornicate and get involved with Ariane. But that's basically what he's saying. You have to sacrifice and be willing to put your pleasures aside and make sure that your partner pleasures are being met.
And my delight is in actually seeing them happy.
So I think you or Tyshawn spoke about this. He talked about the man who says, hey, I must have X, Y, Z before I start to engage in relationships.
Yes.
And I think it could be some level of confusion about what a man's true purpose is.
Yes.
So could you give us some insight into what a man's true purpose is?
Yes. So in Genesis chapter 3, the Lord makes Adam, gives him dominion over the earth, and says, you have authority over every creeping thing, every crawling thing, every flying thing. He gave him somewhere to live, the Garden of Eden. Gave him a purpose that you're supposed to run this garden, have authority over the animals. And then gave him a woman. So in order for you to have a relationship, you got to have a stable place to live. You got to have some sense of purpose. You got to know what your God-given assignment is and know how to talk to God for yourself. Those are the prerequisites. The prerequisite is not a six-figure income, a German car, Italian suit. Those are not the prerequisites. And then somebody who will come in and see you in your nakedness while you are building it. Can you help me build it? Give me the advice, the admonition, the insight, the counsel to be able to make some strategic decisions on how it is that you move, how it is that you function. You all's singleness is glaring at this table. You are absolutely single. The woman who you are dating would not let you do this podcast in a t-shirt. This is what you decided to do independently.
Yeah.
There was no woman that counseled you before you walked out saying, hey, I'm going to record today. Because there is no differentiation from you doing this podcast and you going to the underground. So we're like, oh no, I think you need to change that. So it's the small things. And this woman, hypothetically, has no TV experience. She has no, broadcast experience. She don't have a channel on YouTube, but is giving a different set of eyes on how it is that you build your brand and how it is that you think and how it is that you process.
Okay, I want to pump the brakes right there. Basically, what the pastor is saying when it comes to these men, right, is that when you have this single mindset and you've been single for so long, you're so used to calling all the shots and doing as you want to do. Even in your mind, you think that you have arrived and you've reached that place of success. But what the pastor is saying, when you have a solid woman, a woman on your team, she can still be an asset to your success and how you flourish. Meaning that he was, jokingly with the man on the with the young man on the podcast saying that, hey, your wife, if you had a woman or a significant other, she would have told you, that shirt not gonna do it. No, you need to you need to wear something else. My man ain't about to go out here looking all dull and looking like he got no swag on no podcast. Nah, I'm gonna make sure you look good. We're gonna have to get you a better shirt. We're gonna have to, swag you out. Basically, women, we are the gravy on the pork chop for them. And that's basically what he's saying. And a woman don't have to have experience with what a man does to be an asset to him. Her loving him and supporting him enough will help her to find out ways in which she can help him to better himself. And see, this is what men miss out on when they choose not to marry. They think because they're single, all I need is an Italian suit, some gator shoes, and an expensive car, and I am the full package. And this is not knocking men who choose to be bachelors or single. But, however, a woman is a gift from God. She enhances your best and your worst qualities. Mel did it with Martell. We know good damn well Martell was not wearing those suits and gator shoes. Okay? Alright? He was not this well-groomed man. I believe Mel played a significant part in that. He did not have the ideal image of the family man until Mel, pretty much, utilized all of her gifts to help him become that. And there's a lot of men out here who will be lost in the sauce, wearing dirty socks, be wearing, Goodwill, Salvation Army hand-me-downs, if it was not for a woman who was investing into them emotionally and spiritually. And that's basically what he's saying. Yeah, as a man by yourself, you can do great. You do good. But with a woman, you'll do phenomenal. Because she has the gift of being able to see your potential and see things in you to help you better yourself. That's basically what he's saying.
Nobody in the world was talking about what Steve Harvey had on before Laura. He's wearing gaiters and suits 5 times big. Now he a runway model in Italy. Am I lying?
No, you're right. You're right.
Fair use.
We know Steve was wearing gaiters.
Yeah.
So the person who you're with adds to you in small ways that really help you make big and significant moves.
Wow.
Is it safe to say that, and for my brothers, because we talking to the single brothers heavily, for my brothers in relationships that just ain't quite going their way.
Yes.
Going back to some disrespect going on and some acting out happening. Is it safe to say that they're doing something wrong in order for that to be going on in their relationship?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
It is staying. 72% of all divorces are filed by women. Mm-hmm. The man is equally miserable, but he won't end it. The two of you sitting at this table, off your head, I don't know y'all till I walked in this room. There are 2 women out of your past who you can call right now, because we don't close doors.
That's a fact.
No, I'm telling you, we don't close doors. We always leave it cracked. Women will get closure. So if you feel like you're being disrespected, that it's not going your way, we will, in our own brokenness, we will stay with people we know it ain't going nowhere. Men go to 7-Eleven and Walgreens. Women go to Target and Walmart. Why? Because we want convenience. So you go in the corner store, it's men in there.
Right. No, that's an excellent analogy.
Yeah.
I don't even walk in those places because it's too much.
Okay.
Getting in is too much. I want to go right in and come out.
Yeah. And so most times, regrettably, we date convenience stores and not department stores.
Listen, ladies, the sermon is getting good. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Absolutely, y'all. Again, I'm going to put the link on where I got this podcast from, so you ladies can check it on out and hear it all the way through without me running my mouth, because I get it. Sometimes we want to receive the message wholeheartedly. And basically, he made a true statement. Most of the time when it comes to divorces, women are the ones to leave. Male is a prime example. Very rarely do the men file divorce. The women who do. Men, on the other hand, they will sit in a marriage knowing it's not fulfilling them, knowing they're not really happy, and they will stay the whole time. And that's why it's very important for a woman to know, understand when a man is producing all of this energy. Like Melody saw that with Martell. She saw that the man did not want the marriage. It was written all over his face, but yet he would have not made that move. You know what he would have did? He would have continued to stay in that marriage, using Mel, stealing Mel's money to have his secret rendezvous with Ariane, Air Mattress, and Mel would have continued to be miserable. But Mel counted her loss and realized that it was not worth the aggravation and the emotional toll she would have taken on herself by continuing in that marriage. And so she left. And this is the part in which the pastor starts talking with the men and starts saying that, you know, the problem with men is that a lot of the decisions we make is out of convenience. It's out of convenience. He just used an example. For example, women, we got to go to Walmart, we got to go to Target because there's so many other things, you know, we're trying to do. And, you know, we have so many different tasks we're trying to accomplish. Men, on the other hand, you're not going to see too many men in places like that. You're going to see them in the gas station. Men do not like to deal with a whole lot. They do not like to take too much task on. They do not want to deal with too many burdens. So, they try to find shortcuts, and they don't, and it's cool to a certain degree, but sometimes when you're always applying that shortcut to everything, that's how you fumble the ball. That's how you start picking up the wrong things and bringing them into your life, because you're trying to find a shortcut. You're trying to find a convenient way of dealing with things not going your way or working out in your favor. And that's what he was saying. Men like to date convenience stores instead of department stores. They want something quick. They want something that's going to fulfill them for that moment. They want something that's going to fulfill those instant desires. They're not looking for a department store, something that's going to give them everything they need. Not just what they need at that point in time, at that particular moment. But I'm going to let him explain some more. And please hit that like button, y'all. Hit the likes. Appreciate it.
All I want is chips and a soda. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to get groceries for the week. I'm getting for what's going to feed me right now. And I know it ain't healthy. It ain't even cooked. But I know what it's going to do. And how it is that we handle our snack life is how it is that we handle our relationship life. So most of men you know who are single have a home full of snacks with no groceries.
Nothing in the refrigerator. No perishable items.
No garlic powder?
Nothing. No seasons, no pots, no pans, nothing.
No, with menus on the counter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, that's... And I think that's important, because if we saying that if your woman is acting out, it's on you, you saying that that's some things that we... it goes back to toleration.
Yes.
Okay? But is there a case where your woman is acting out and there's a way to... Is there a way to come back from that? Is it always we just need to leave the situation?
No. You have to see... Do you see a finish line?
How do we know? So that's what I want. When does a brother know the difference between, okay, this is a problem I need to fix. Mm-hmm. She's acting out because I'm not performing.
Yes.
Or she's acting out because she just ain't the one. Was there some things that I can see to know the difference?
You know the difference. When it's because of you, you don't need therapy to find that out. If she is hyper-vigilant in paranoia, it's because of the breadcrumbs we left. She ain't no Vietnam vet. You too young. She didn't go fight in the Persian Gulf. She been fighting with you. So now, because of that phone is vibrating on the nightstand at 12:20, and you trying to act like you don't hear it. They like answer it. You can't now be annoyed on why you so insecure. Is that's built on something. If they know from being around you, y'all been dating 2 months, you always have your phone in your hand. You always got your phone in your hand. Playing the game, text messages, Instagram, social media, phone is always in your hand. Then they calling you on a Friday and you didn't see the call. It'll take you 3 hours to get back to the call. We can't then say you getting on my nerves, because what we do is set the standard and the expectation. And we don't want to be held accountable to the standard we set.
Pause right there. Absolutely. Again, I probably didn't play in the initial beginning when he admitted that he was the reason his marriage failed, that his marriage did not succeed because of his choices of infidelity. If I did not play that part, I just wanted y'all to know that's what made him do this podcast. These gentlemen brought him on their show so he can share his experience of what infidelity, how it ruins a man, and how it can cost you your marriage. And he did initially admit in the beginning that it was not based off of irreconcilable differences. He said because of his actions in adultery, that is the reason why his marriage did not succeed and why he lost his marriage. And that is the reason why he is sharing his advice based off of his own personal journey of how infidelity and adultery costed him. And as the message is over, I will let y'all know who the pastor is. I'm just not going to let y'all know right now, because if I tell you, you're going to all know how women are. Y'all getting y'all feelings. Once y'all find out, oh, hell no, he don't need to be talking. He don't need to be saying nothing because he already XYZ. But like I said, you can learn from the messenger. I mean, you can learn from the message without focusing on the messenger, okay? But this is what he was just saying is that once as a man, when you start off doing things a certain way with your wife, you know, you have your phone all the time, you always texting on it. All of us are addicted to our phones, okay? That's unfortunately that is the curse of technology. We be on our phones more than we be on each other, okay? I mean, y'all both could be sitting in the living room. He on his phone, you on your phone. You doing TikTok, he doing Instagram. My husband is always on YouTube looking at how to fix things, looking at how to build things. He's very, very heavy into looking up things that can help him fix stuff. You know, he's always looking at channels on how to build stuff, how to fix stuff, whatever. You know, me, I'm looking on YouTube about the gossip, celebrity tea, stuff like that. TikTok on how to make coffee drinks, all kind of stuff, right? And all of a sudden, now he's doing something different. All of a sudden, let's say he goes from now, all of a sudden, he's not watching videos that show him how to build things, how to build cabinets, how to, you know, put engines inside, you know, vehicles, you know, or removing engines. All of a sudden, you're just watching videos of women all the time. You know, all of a sudden, you're always on your phone. And I'm calling you, you're not answering. I'm only responding because you're doing something out of routine that I'm not used to you doing. And now because I'm questioning you, why are you watching them type of videos all of a sudden? What made you get into watching women, all kind of women on OnlyFans? What made you get into that? You're getting defensive and defiant. Why is you being so insecure? Why are you worrying about what I do on my phone? I don't be asking you what you're doing on your phone. You know, you gaslighting, you're deflecting and doing all of that. All of this plays a part as to why a lot of women, why we question, why we antagonize, why we come off as antagonizing and aggravating when really we just need reassurance. That's what Martell called himself doing. Martell started doing things totally out of alignment, in which it made Mel question him. Why is there a certain amount of money that is being withdrawn out the bank, and you cannot account for where this money is going? Why do you have the second phone? What do you need a second phone for when I always call you just on one phone? What's up with the second phone? He gets annoyed. He gets frustrated because you're questioning him. Not just be questioning him. You're questioning him off of the standards you're used to him setting for you with himself. Now he's doing something different outside of the standards in which you're not accustomed to him doing. And it's because he's doing something inappropriate that he should not be doing. But now he's frustrated. This is where the gaslighting, this is where the flipping the script comes in at, because he does not want you investigating and interrogating him on why is he stepping outside of his element, why he's doing things outside of the norm that I'm used to him doing. It's because he knows he's doing something he should not be doing.
And so whether it is for the gentlemen who are out here, if ever for 4 days You sending good morning text? You got to send that good morning text the 5th day. If whatever is the standard you set, that's what it is that you got to meet. If it is you all talk every night and you go missing 2 nights and think they're not going to respond to that standard, then we got to hold ourselves accountable. Now,
other words, don't start what you can't finish. You can't sit up here and run a woman down and do all these nice gestures, buying her flowers, taking her out, you know, make her feel special every Wednesday. You calling her and telling her, you know, I love you, this and that. And now the last 3 or 4 Wednesdays, you stop calling me, telling me you love me. You stop bringing me flowers. Every Friday, you always send flowers to the job to get me. Now you done stop. What's going on? You know what I mean? This is the mindset of, you know, how you know some of these men are stepping outside of their marriages and doing something they should not be doing, because you can't keep up the charades if you got something else occupying your time. And I'm sure Martell made it very, very obvious that he was doing a lot of inappropriate things, because his whole attitude change, and when your attitude changes, so does your actions. So this is very good teaching, y'all. Say what y'all want to say, but this is very informative information. Make sure y'all hit the like.
Now, if it is erratic behavior that can happen, then we got to trace back. Hey, what in the world is happening? And look in the mirror. Do I have episodes when I'm not myself? How do I deal with depression? Because I don't want to tell her I'm not myself because my mom is sick. I don't want to tell her, hey, I'm stressed out because my boy is getting ready to lose his relationship, but I know he's cheating. But I know in spite of the fact that he's cheating, he loved the one he getting ready to lose. I don't know how to have that conversation with her without it falling back on me. Because immediately it's, oh, that's what y'all do?
Yeah, right, 100%.
Yeah, so you have to really do your own diagnostic on what were the feeders, what were the contributors that led to that place. And Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true, what role did I play? How did we get here? It wasn't always like this, but there had to have been something that built up to it. Milk is healthy. It's absolutely healthy. It's good for your bones. It makes you grow, makes you strong until the expiration date. Then it makes you sick. Then it smells up your house. We don't understand a lot of times as men that some relationships are like milk. They're healthy for a season, but milk you cannot just throw in the trash can because it's going to stink up the whole house. You got to pour it out. And so you have to know, it's amazing. All of us from 3 different places, 3 different walks of life, all of us has got friends, big brothers, cousins, who taught us how to holler at a girl, taught us how to get a number, taught us how to pull up, taught us how to use your friend as the wingman. Nobody, and I don't know y'all, in no barbershop, in no locker room, no basketball court, has any man ever taught you how to get closure. We always learn how to get in. Nobody ever told us how to get out with distinction and with class and with integrity. And we got to learn, how do we as grown men get to the place, think about it, whatever conversations that you've had, is the woman who had to say to you, it ain't working. We ain't gonna do it, and they drive us crazy. We know it ain't right. Going over there, it make my heart beat. Before I answer the phone, I got to take a deep breath. Like, what is it now? Because nobody ever taught us how to do closure and how to exit without kicking over the whole table.
In fact, I think the typical advice is just find you another woman as fast as possible.
Yes. And so what it is that we do is that we leave through non-responsiveness.
Fair use.
So we don't return the text as fast. All of a sudden, I'm busy. I can't.
We shut down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the same job. Ain't nothing new. You ain't a fireman. So nothing new has popped up. We just start distancing ourselves out rather than having an adult conversation to say, this isn't working. I think that we're on two different paths, and I want something else.
So this what I want to know, because I think one of the toughest things a man can ever do is just lead an entire family.
Yes.
You know, all the way to the finish line.
Yes.
And, you know, we say till death do us part. That's
Right.
that's a really tough thing to do. So what would you say it takes? Because leadership is a very important responsibility, duty of a man,
Yes.
duty of a man. So what does it really take for a man? What would you say it takes for him to be able to lead his family throughout?
The same thing it takes for a man to go to closing on a house. A man will go into a 30-year mortgage on a house that you got to upkeep, and you ain't a carpenter. You got to make sure the grounds are good, and you ain't a gardener. You got to make sure the plumbing still works, and you are not a plumber. But you make a commitment for 30 years to an inanimate object, but can't make a commitment to a person. Oh, that's too long. That's too far. Okay. You will make a commitment for a 4-year lease on a car that you know will devalue as soon as you pull off of the lot. Knowing that you got to get insurance. Knowing that when that red light come on, you got to pull it up for maintenance. You will make a commitment to that, but will not make a commitment to a person. It is a decision. And so I think that we use a cop-out that it's hard for us to lead a family. And I'll say to you, it's harder to be a single parent.
Now you have a group of men, a community that's growing.
Yes.
And it's the red pill community. So this particular community doesn't promote, families.
Yes.
Would you say that in order to be your best self as a man, in order to be the best version of yourself as a man,
Yes.
does that have to come with a long-term relationship in the form of marriage and family?
I think so.
Okay.
And I'm saying that to you as a divorcee who's been divorced 11 years. And I'm telling you, I am half my capacity single.
Wow.
That where it is that I would be married, I'd be double where it is that I am.
Oops, let me pop the brakes on that. Basically, hell, if you could commit to a 30-year mortgage, you could commit to a 7-year car loan, because most of them, when you get a brand new one off the lot, I know mine was 7 years. You could commit to a person. If you could commit to property, you could commit to your job, you can commit to a marriage. It all boils down to choice. So it's not that Martell could not commit. He just chose not to. And that is the case with a lot of these married men out here. It's not that I just don't have the willpower. I can't do it. It's just too much of a struggle. It's too much that's expected of me. No, you choose not to put more of yourself into your marriage. That is a choice. So it's not like it's impossible that it can't be done. Commitment can be done. It is a choice in a matter. Because you commit to everything else. Listen, Martell been committed to still dealing with coleslaw for over 10 years. We're talking about 10 years. So miss me with he couldn't commit himself to Melody. Because you still dealing with your side chick to this day, sir. Okay? It's just that you chose not to honor your vows, not to commit to your wife. You made that choice. And he's getting ready now to go into talking about his divorce and saying that, even though he's single and he's doing well, he knows that if he were married, he would be double the man that he is if he kept his marriage. If he had his wife, he would be way more successful, way more abundantly blessed if he had kept his vows, kept his marriage, that he would be twice the man that he is. I'll let him elaborate more on that. And this is fair use. for entertainment purposes only. Make sure y'all hit the likes.
Because my focus would be singular, and I'd be able to give more attention to my God-given assignment.
Wow. Well, that's wow. You got me thinking about, because now I'm thinking about Tyshawn 30, I'm 34. You talked about the shirt, because I think all of those things are right. I think it's like you talking directly to me right now.
Yeah.
And I do desire to have a family and be married, of course. But I think I do get stuck in this place where I want to get all of these accomplishments prior, especially finances.
And I'm telling you, as your adopted big brother,
okay,
I'm telling you, it'll be harder for you to do it after you accomplish all of it.
Wow.
At this level, it is who will help me build. If you accomplish all of it, you'll be suspicious on why did you come.
Now, I want to pump the brakes on this. I've heard a lot of men basically state that they did not want to marry because they're not well together. They're still working on bettering themselves. Their finances, their money isn't right. And basically what the pastor was saying was, yeah, I mean, don't come to a woman as a deadbeat, like don't have nothing, but it's better to get someone who is willing to help you build, because if you're already well established, when somebody does come along, you're going to already have suspicions like, okay, why you want to deal with me now? Why? Because I'm successful now because I own a home now because I finally got my businesses running up off the ground. That is the catch-22. That's why, these men have to be careful with wanting to be fully already established and successful before they meet a woman, because when they do meet one, he's automatically going to have this mindset of, you only want me because I'm well established. You only want me because I'm well off. You only want me now because I got all these businesses established. As in the difference, if it was with a woman that was building him or there with him, I ain't talking about no deadbeat to where she got to work 30, 40 hours while, he sits home and, works on the machine, like a little acrimony situation, right? But what I'm saying is, while he's establishing himself, getting a woman that is seeing he's putting in work, seeing that he's about business, he's making moves, and she's willing to put in and invest with him, it will make him feel more secure and more appreciative of her, because he's going to know she played a part in it. And she was not only with him because he was already established, that she made the decision to be with him while he was establishing himself and also putting in work, also helping him to invest. So that takes away that insecurity of she's only with me because I already was well established. No, this woman was with me when I was building, and she had the opportunity to walk away. She had the opportunity to say, shit, I'm not about to sit up here and help you get it together. That way he would have knew, okay, well, I don't need to get involved with her because she only wants somebody who's built. She doesn't want to help do the building, so I already know she wasn't the woman for me. My husband, on the other hand, he was already financially well together, but at the same time, he had some other things he was working on. He was trying to start his own roofing company. He didn't already have his roofing company when I came with him, when I met him. He was actually a roofer. He was roofing for one of his uncles who had a roofing company. And he always said how he wanted his own business. And slowly but surely over time, we gradually, I did his contracts, I helped with his paperwork, and, he's been doing his own roofing business for years. But again, he was not already well established with his business when I came. So that's how he knows I'm genuinely a part of his journey, because I did not wait for him to be fully established. And I get it. Some of these men, they will take advantage. They will use you and things of that nature. However, the catch-22 with a man that's fully well established, he's going to think you got an agenda when you do get involved with him. So that's where you have to use your spiritual discernment. You have to pay attention to a man's actions versus his words. All of these, I have Martin Luther King, I have a dream to own a business, but you don't even have a job. Or I have a dream, to one day, start my own, law firm, and he doesn't even have a GED. I mean, you got to make it make sense, ladies. I mean, don't settle for a deadbeat. But at the same time, if you get a man that's way too well established, keep in mind he may at some point feel as if you only chose him because of his lifestyle versus choosing him for him. So it's a catch-22. You just have to use your spiritual discernment with that.
Is it my stuff? It is my accomplishment? Is it my achievement? Or is it me? So finding somebody who's going to love you in a 10,000 square foot home, that's easy. Finding somebody who's going to love you in a 1-bedroom apartment with a futon, that's a different kind of love that requires.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah, that's altogether different. And I think that a lot of people are wealthy and lonely. You know what I mean? I don't know them. I don't know them. Hear me. I do not know them. I wouldn't want to be Rick Ross with the biggest house in the state of Georgia and be single. That's me. For what? Give me a condo in Miami. But you got to walk through that house and hear the echo of your own footsteps. And what kind of... This is me. I don't know this man. Please hear me. This is not a rat beef, Rick. To me, what kind of fulfillment to have 35 bedrooms and have a different person walking in there. And you got to make sure they're not leaving out with your stuff.
It's an event venue, not necessarily a home.
He said that, Rick. But I'm saying you want somebody that you want to build with and know that they love you for who it is that you are, not for what it is that you bring.
Man, I'm going to be honest. We had a whole long, drawn-out conversation about just that question. And I'm talking about, believe it or not, that was a highly controversial topic.
Yeah. About
whether or not a man can become his very best self if he does not lead a family, like get married and lead a family. And, you know, with so many different things that pop. People like, but Jesus ain't get married and he was his best self. And the Apostle Paul didn't do that. And
right. Yeah,
you're going to say he wasn't that.
Yeah, but everything.
Yeah, people just pull everything out. But that's interesting that you say that. And I want to hear, is it just as simple as what you said? Like, is what you just stated the defense to that statement? Or is there anything else to it?
The Bible says that a man gets the favor of the Lord from his wife. Period. End of story. So I, without a wife, I don't have favor. I'm functioning through grace. So if you get that, favor will trump grace every time. There's a reason why America has never, ever elected a president that's single. I don't think political scientists will have to go the extra step, and maybe it won't even happen in your generation, to reevaluate the victory of Raphael Warnock not just being black in the South, but winning single in the Bible Belt that is built on family values as a divorcee. You understand that? Yeah. So a lot of people in parts of Georgia said, I would rather vote for a known abuser than Herschel Walker, because he presents family values. But by the grace of God, Raphael was able to pull through it. But the question that you all would have to have a whole nother show on, a whole nother show. We can't do it right now. A whole nother show, and I'd have to have women at the table. Something is wrong if our only 2 black U.S. senators that are male are both single. Cory Booker and Raphael Warnock. And nobody has done an autopsy on what that means. Or what is the significance of that? Imagine, as a critical thinker, if we never had a Barack and Michelle. So the highest place in political authority in America was occupied by 2 black men who didn't have married life.
So inherently, is it safe to say that a single man is just relatively more unstable?
I'm not calling him unstable. I did not say that. I prayed before I went in here today. I said, Lord, don't let me go viral today. Right. Listen, no, I'm not saying that. I am saying, hear me, that men can be successful single. I want to put that on record. I just believe men can get to their optimum selves with a woman by their side.
And I'm going to pause the brakes on that. I think I'm going to do a part 2. Because, like I said, if it goes on too long, we all got a short attention span. He made a lot of significant points. Any man can, have grace. But in order to have favor, who findeth the wife findeth a good thing. Okay, that's where the blessings, really start to manifest, when a man values his marriage, values his wife, values being a leader. I guarantee you, if Martell would have not taken his marriage for granted, he would have really been elevated. Look at how well Melody is doing. Could you imagine if Martell was still with Mel, how great he would be doing? He would be a part of many more businesses by now. He would still be in a beautiful home. He would be watching his children grow and become bigger every day. Had only he had submitted to his wife, for one, let me repeat that. For one, submit to God. First and foremost, submit to his wife and submit to his family. The man would have been blessed abundantly. His infidelity ruined him to where he is stuck with the woman he really does not want. And I probably did not play that part, but the pastor did state that it's too often that men will jeopardize something they love for something they really don't want. Because why? It goes back to what he said earlier. It's about convenience. It's that 7-Eleven mindset of I need something quick and convenient, something that's going to fulfill me for the moment. Not understanding that one temporary thing is going to take down a whole empire. Something that's way more meaningful, something that's way more significant than what you built. Like, for instance, if y'all remember the movie New Jack City, how many of my ladies out there are gangster flick watchers at heart? Listen, I love the Boys in the Hood. I love the Menace to Society. I love all of my early 90s gangster movies. You get what I'm saying? Now, New Jack City is a prime example of how Nino and G Money, how the Cash Money brothers had built this huge empire. Okay, they had taken over this huge apartment complex, to the point to where they had so much power that the police, nobody could really, infiltrate into, this drug business, this drug cartel thing they had going. They took over a whole apartment complex. That's just how much power the Cash Money brothers had. They were making money. Things were going well, you know what I mean? They had, even had somebody, running the computers, keeping up with, the system, everything was going smooth until G Money made the decision to start using drugs. Instead of selling the supply, he started getting high off his own supply. Not only that, G Money started getting in his feelings because Nino Brown was smashing a no good ass chick who he introduced Nino to. Okay, so because of G Money's emotional feelings, he resorted to using drugs, and that played a big part in how the feds, the police was able to infiltrate and capitalize off his vulnerableness of being angry with Nino Brown, and on top of that, him using drugs. So, in result of that, that is how the police was able to infiltrate. Okay, because G Money got weak in the game. He got weak, and he wasn't really built for the drug game on that level, because if he was, the cops, the police would have never, you know, gotten a benefit of being able to infiltrate. That's the same way with Martell, because he was already weak and he was not really built for marriage. That's how come Ariana Air Mattress was able to infiltrate. A female that low of a caliber who had absolutely nothing going, no one that was worth him, she was not worth him losing all of what he lost. You know, that's the same thing, you know, Nino Brown said, you know, when him and G Money got into it on the rooftop or whatever, he said, you know, you wasn't handling your business, and you know, you was even messing with my girl, and like Nino said, hey, you gonna let I forgot how he said it, but you gonna let some whole bitch, you know, jeopardize a $5 million empire? Like, you gonna sit up there and let something that petty, somebody that less of value, get you so upset because I'm smashing her that you was willing to get our whole operation worth millions of dollars compromised, all because you and your feelings over a trick? All the money we got, you could have got any trick. You could have got you another woman. You up here letting me smash your girl. You letting that, you know, affect you to where we lost our whole empire over that. Even though Nino was wrong now. He broke boy code. But that's the whole thing. You have some people, and Martell is a prime example of that. They're not built for marriage. They're not built to be a leader. They're not built to be a husband. Part of being a leader is having discernment, having discretion, weighing the pros from the cons, knowing that, you know what, I can keep dealing with this broad. However, if I keep getting myself involved, I'm taking a risk of losing my marriage. I'm taking a risk of losing my family. Is she really worth that? Is she really worth, you know, all of what I could lose? And Martell is finding that out now. That's why he's acting out, throwing tantrums. He is stuck in a rut with his succubus. And I told y'all that, and I'm going to do a part 2 on that. He is stuck in a rut with a succubus. This is how infidelity ruins a man. When he's not willing to sit back and do some self-evaluation and say, you know what caused me? What was I lacking within myself? Because a lot of times these married men, they want to blame their wives. You wasn't pleasing me. You wasn't satisfying me. Okay, well, you getting all the blowjobs, you getting all the booty you want from Ariana, and it still seems like you're unhappy. So at this point, it's not even Ariana's fault. It is not Mel's fault. This is what Martell chose. Why? Because he has so much emptiness within himself. He was trying to feel whole by putting himself in somebody else's hole. Yeah, I know that's a little too, you know, me doing DTM doing too much, but he thought he can feel whole by putting his ding-a-ling in somebody else's hole, only to put himself in a deeper hole, a hole of misery, a hole of anger, resentment. And this is part of the price. This comes with infidelity. And it comes with the price of not just ruining your marriage, but it ruins you as a man. Because you're stuck with the very thing that you did not perceive to have any longevity with. But we're going to pump the brakes. Because we are an hour and 23 minutes into it. And I don't want to lose... I don't want y'all to start flatlining on me, okay? Again, the message is very insightful. I'm going to do the part 2 and save the rest, because I want y'all to digest and process everything that's being said. Hopefully, this is making sense to y'all. Hopefully, y'all are connecting the dots and putting it all together. But we're going to keep that energy flowing for part 2. Meanwhile, hit the like button. And I'm going to start setting up for my part 2. Again, I definitely appreciate y'all. And we're going to get more into this. I know I also owe a Unhinged. It's been a while since I did one of those, so I got that coming as well. So we got a lot of catching up to do. We got some things. We got a couple of more sermons that are way overdue. So anyway, y'all be blessed and enjoy the rest of y'all Memorial Day. And until next time, y'all take care. Love you guys. Love y'all. Appreciate you. Talk.